Hey everyone, it's MJE Web Design back with another tutorial. But first, before we get into this, I just want to say sorry for being inactive for the past couple of weeks. I've been busier than I thought with other stuff, and yeah, I want to start adding a schedule into the channel. Maybe one video per week from now on. So in the comment section below, just suggest some video ideas for me, and I will get those done. I could really do with some if I'm going to start doing one video per week. After a while, I'm just gonna not know what to do. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's get straight into this. So, creating a drop-down menu with submenus. This is pretty much like the video I made about a year ago, which was about creating a drop-down navigation menu, except we're going to be adding those submenus onto the drop-down navigation menu. So you'll notice that there's a div here, which is wrapper. If we go into the styling, I've just got a wrapper here. This is basically just keeping it central and away from the top, just for demonstration purposes, just so it's out of the way. And just some body styling, just for this tutorial. Basically, just gets rid of the default padding or margin that the body adds. I've added that little overflow -y scroll, just some just a font size and background color. So you can really go ahead and just ignore all that. We're just going to go ahead into the wrapper div, and we're going to div id equals nav. And I'm going to end it with a comment. I'm going to suggest that you get into the habit of adding comments. It makes your coding much more organized and easy to edit. So UL and then li. Okay, and we'll just have, we're going to call this item 1. Alright, and we're just going to copy and paste a couple of these down here. Let's have that. Oh, okay, let's not have that many. So alright, so we've got item 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's add some drop down menus. So we'll add a drop down menu onto the second one. So we're gonna have drop down, and this is gonna drop down 1, and we'll have one at the end here, and call that drop down 2. So now we've got 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now we've got item 1, drop down 1, item 2, item 3, and drop down 2. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these starting tags and move them to the end of the li tags. Now the reason we're going to do this is that we're going to get rid of that gap that is put there by default. I could have showed you. Well, anyway, with list items, basically there's a little gap that's put by default in between each one. So by moving this starting li to the back of this li tag, it just gets rid of that gap and makes it look a lot more clean. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what we have so far. As you see, not much. We're going to add the submenus now. No, sorry, we're going to add the drop-down menus. So at the end of the li, in between the end of the link tag and the end of the li tag, I'm going to click there, hit enter twice, tab it, and I've got ul, another ul, and some more list items. However, these ones are going to have different names to the previous ones. So let's do this drop down item 1. Okay, we're just going to copy and paste this again. We'll have that many. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm going to add a submenu here. So I'm going to have submenu, submenu 1. Right, so now we have drop down item 1, drop down item 2, submenu 1, item 3, 4. Alright, I'm just going to do the same. We're just going to do the same for these. We're just going to copy and paste them. Hit enter here. and we're gonna v there. Wait, no, we're not. We need to add the ULs. I probably should have just copied the UL tag as well. We'll paste that into there. So we've got drop down menu, drop down item 1, 2. So we'll move the sub menu to somewhere else. Drop down item 3, 4, and 5. We'll have the sub menu at the last one this time. Alright, so now let's see where we're up to. Okay, so we're starting to see the structure. Item drop down, then you've got to drop down items. Alright, so let's go in between that end link tag and the end li tag for the submenu, and we're going to basically do exactly the same for the submenu as we did for the drop down menu. And I'm just going to paste them tab a bit, and we're just going to change the name to submenu item 1. I'll just sort this out here. Right, okay, so submenu item list, submenu item 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll copy that, and we're going to go and do the same for the submenu up here. Okay, so in between the end of the link tag and the end of the li tag, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy that in there, and submenu we'll have only 3 items this time. Alright, so let's go and see what we've got. Alright, so item, drop down menu, you got your drop down, then you got your sub menu, then you got your sub menu. So it does kind of show that it's working. It shows that the structure's working. Now we just got to style it. So that's pretty much all there is for the HTML. So we're going to go over to the CSS, and we're going to do nav UL list style type as none, padding 0, and margin as none. So that list style item is going to get rid of basically the style of the list. There's going to be nothing, so we don't want bullet points, and that padding 0 and margin 0 is going to get rid of any default spacing around the list. Nav UL li, we're going to have a display inline block, and basically that's what that's going to do. It's going to make the list list horizontally instead of vertically. So I'll show you. So basically what's going to happen now is these bullet points are going to disappear, and it's going to list horizontally like that. As you can see though, it's an absolute mess at the moment. So let's go, and we're going to do nav UL li hover, and this really has nothing to do with the creating of the submenu. It's just for style, just for this tutorial really. That background color white on hover. We're going to do nav UL li a visited. We're going to do display block padding 15px, and we'll have color as 888, which is grey, and text decoration as none. So now you'll see we've got this. So this actually shows the structure even better. So as you can see, drop down menu hovers all over. It makes everything that's in that drop down menu white, except we can't see the sub menu very well at the moment. Okay. The display block on the link, just make sure that the link covers the entire list item, instead of it just being just the text. You can click anywhere in the padding 15 pixels area. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to do nav Actually, no, hold on. Actually, yeah. So nav ul li a hover. We're gonna make color 444, which is slightly dark grey. So now when we hover over, the color is going to change to that darker grey. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter twice here. We're going to go into something new, which is the drop down menu. So nav ul li hover ul. We're going to do display block. Nav ul display non position absolute. So what this is saying is that when we hover over the ULLI, it's going to make the UL appear. So we've got the UL set to display none, and then when we hover over the ULLI, it's going to make it appear with the display block. There we go. Now, something we also need to add are some greater than signs. Now this is gonna, you don't really need to put these into a drop down menu, but when you're using submenus, it kind of requires. So it's going to be nav ul li hover, and then we're going to do a greater sign there, so from hover to ul. Now I'm gonna we'll go on to the nav ul li display as block to make sure that the drop down menu is listing vertically instead of horizontally now, because now we want it to look like this. Okay, so you're going to notice that the submenus are showing now. Now if we got rid of that greater sign and we went on, you're going to realize that the submenu items are already showing. So you need this to just determine which UL you want to display and which not. So we want to display, when we hover, we only want to display the items here, and then when we hover over this one, we want to show that. But we still need to style the submenu. And another thing that I'm going to quickly mention, in fact, I'm just going to add background color white to the UL, so that it now does that. I'm also going to add min width 225 pixels. So now, as you can see, the drop down menu is a bit longer and just looks a bit better when it comes to just looks, basically. Another thing that I'm going to go mention is the chaining color on the initial items. Now, when you change a background color, it will stay as background color. When you change the link color, it's going to change back to its original color. Now we don't want that, because we want to show that when you hover down, you are over this one. So you want that to stay as a dark grey and not the hashtag 888. So for that, we're going to go ahead and go over here. I'm going to do nav greater than ULLI hover a color 444. Okay, so now as you can see, if we scroll down here now, move our mouse down here, it keeps that the dark grey, but it also gets rid of we want these to stay grey, stay light grey. So just very simple, just nav ul li a visited color make that light grey. Sorry, my mistake. We need to make it like this. We need to do ul li hover ul li a visited, and now that should change. There we go. And then right, okay, there we go. So that was my fault. So now when we hover over, we're gonna go down here, and you can see that it stays grey. Now the reason the colours aren't changing here, honestly, I'm not quite sure it's doing that, but it works because instead of changing the color, we're just going to change the background color. So we're just going to do nav ul hover background color, and we're going to do F9 F9 F9. So now it's gonna have like a little hover color. Okay, and that does it the same for this. Right, so we've pretty much done everything now. We just need to position the submenu. So that's actually very easy to do. So the first thing we want to add is nav ul li hover greater than ul display block. Now we want to do nav ul. We're going to do margin. Now the way I'm going to do it is kind of a simple way, because a lot of people might do it this way, so margin top, but there's actually a simpler way. Basically, I'll tell you this now. Margin, it goes like this: top, right, bottom, left. So if we want to change this, we want to change, well, let's say minus 50 pixels top, right, we don't want to move it right, we don't want to move it bottom, but we want to move it left 225 pixels. Now this is going to move the submenu to about where we want. So let's say minus 52 pixels. Is that about on? Yeah, it's about on. So now as you can see, when we scroll over the submenu, it's going to come up with this option over here. There's one thing we need to change, is the background color. We're going to change it to the same of the hover state of the ULLI. I'm going to go back on here. As you can see. Oh, and as well as that, we'll also go ahead and nav ULLI a hover color. We'll go for that dark grey again. So now, as you can see, we have a working navigation bar, working drop-down menus, and working submenus. And you'll notice that on the one we haven't been looking at, it still works exactly the same. You know, you can add links to these just like you would anything else. So let's do we'll link the drop down 2 submenu 1. So as you can see, if we refresh the page, we'll just go ahead and go to drop down 2 here, click this, and it's going to take me to my YouTube channel. But yeah, basically that's been a pretty simple way to create drop-down menus with submenus. Nice and clean style. You know, you can edit these colors however you want. You can edit the fonts. You can edit the font sizes. Pretty much all you've got to make sure of is that the margin and the margin is set correct for this. Like this bit here. That's about it.